Nothing beats a good old ghost story and haunted location, and our planet is crammed full of them. From UFO sightings in Transylvania to murders on luxury cruise ships in the Atlantic, or maybe even spirits wandering the halls of British castles. Wherever you're going, you'll be sure to find some sort of haunted site, as well as a good ghost story or two and a few tours to go along with it. But even if you're a total skeptic of these paranormal activities, some of the spookiest locations are still worth your time, whether for their beautiful architecture, jaw-dropping locations, or fascinating histories. They're always worth a picture or two, but with these haunted places in the world you'll want to visit any day of the year. And not just Halloween. If you have been to any of the places featured in today's story, let us know. Tell us your experiences. Or maybe you just want to tell us your experiences at a totally different location. Then let us know in the comments below. Thank you all, and remember to like, comment and subscribe. And also smash the bell to be notified of future videos. Number 1. Hoya Basu Forest, Romania. A military technician is said to have captured a photograph of a UFO hovering over the tops of trees in the forest. This was in 1968. Hoya Basu Forest has gained paranormal notoriety around the world, with some believing it to be a portal to hell that causes visitors to disappear. Those who have passed through the forest without being taken into another realm have reported strange rashes, nausea, and feelings of anxiety and feeling fearful and depressed. Also, according to locals, the forest is known as the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. The spooky curved trees that populate the forest just add to the scary and ambient atmosphere. Number 2. Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. The picturesque Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel was built in 1888 to encourage tourism and to sell train tickets. This chateau-style hotel sits with a backdrop of the Rocky Mountains in Banff National Park, Alberta in Canada. But it gets a bit more interesting and gothic once you get inside, and we are definitely not talking about the interior of the building. The local newspapers have reported several resident ghosts. This includes a bride who supposedly fell down the stone staircase during her wedding and sadly died. But there's a less tragic spirit within the hotel. He goes by the name of Sam. Sam was employed as a bellman within the hotel, and he worked at the hotel until 1975. He claimed that one day he would come back and haunt this joint. His spirit supposedly takes unpaid shifts helping people with their bags and luggage before he disappears into thin air. Can you imagine this happening to you? Would you still stay, or would you be on the next train home? You decide. Number 3. Eastern State, Philadelphia. The Eastern State Penitentiary was built in 1829, which looks like a castle, and what a place it is. They say it's a place that took solitary confinement to a whole new level. Prisoners lived alone, exercised alone, and ate alone. When an inmate left his cell, the prison guards would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see or be seen. The prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding in 1913. Punishments were very severe. It's said that guards would chain an inmate's tongue to his wrists. This is one example before the place closed for good in 1970. The site is now a visitors' attraction, hosting visitors every year, both for museum events and for paranormal tours. The penitentiary has been featured on many mainstream TV channels with episodes such as Ghost Hunters with Jason Hawes and Ghost Adventures with Zach Bagans. Reported paranormal evidence have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, and ghostly footsteps throughout the premises inside and out. With its awful history, no wonder it's as active with paranormal activity. Would you stay the night? Now, be honest. Number 4. Bangar Fort, India. Bangar Fort is located 100 miles southwest of Delhi. The lush ruins of this amazing fort make for a curious nearness against the desert landscape backdrop of Rajasthan. To this day, the oasis remains largely uninhabited due to an alleged curse cast by a disgruntled sorcerer after his advances were rebuffed by a local princess. It just goes to show, even ruins can be haunted too, and be just as active as other inhabited locations. A curse, I hear them say. Well, would you visit? Number 5. Château de Brissac, Brissac, Quince, France. Believed to be one of the tallest castles in France, at a towering 7 stories. Château de Brissac is best known as the home of the Green Lady, aka the Ghost of Charlotte of France. The château's website tells the legend of Charlotte, the illegitimate daughter of King Charles VII, who was murdered by her husband after he discovered her having an affair. Named for the color of her dress when she was killed, the Green Lady can be found roaming the chapel's tower room, and moaning in the early hours of the morning. Number 6. Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel's stately Georgian architecture and world-renowned whiskey bar have lured travelers to Estes Park since opening in 1909, but the hotel reached new levels of fame after inspiring the world-famous writer Stephen King to create The Shining's fictional Overlook Hotel. That eerie part out of the way, there are many other ghost sightings, and some guests and staff have witnessed loud piano music amongst the hotel's eerie stories, and the Stanley Hotel openly allows ghost tours and psychic consultations from the in-house Madame Vera. Again, it has been featured on mainstream TV on many occasions with various ghost hunting series. Number 7. La Recolita Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina. You don't have to be religious to be taken in by the tranquility of La Recolita Cemetery, Buenos Aires, Argentina, which features thousands of statues, mausoleums, enchanting grottos, and winding rows of tombstones, as well as the remains of Argentina's most iconic figure, Eva Peron. The stone walkways and endless trails of mausoleums are as beautiful as they are spooky, and La Recolita has a couple well-documented, haunted legends of its own. One of the most famous stories involves David Alano, a former grave digger and caretaker, who worked at the cemetery for 30 years before taking his own life. Today, people report hearing Alano's keys jangling as his ghost walks the pathways at dawn. Would you stay till dawn? Is it a hell yeah? Or a hell no? Comment below. Number 8. Tower of London, London, England. The Tower of London was built by William the Conqueror in 1066. This amazing and uncompromised fortress has had many functions in its time. But it's probably best known for its bloody history as a prison and execution site, and famously this is where Henry VIII ordered the execution of 2 of his wives, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, at this very site. It's also believed to be where 2 young princes were imprisoned after the death of their father, King Edward IV. They disappeared shortly after in 1483, and their remains weren't discovered until 1647. Unsurprisingly, ghost stories are abundant of the tower's victims from over the centuries. Have you ever visited the Tower of London? What have you experienced? And how did you feel? Let us know in the comments below. Number 9. St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is visited by nearly 225,000 people every year, but it's just as well known for its paranormal visitors. Several tragic events that occurred at the historic site have played a big part in the alleged paranormal activity. The ghost of a lighthouse keeper who fell to his death while painting the tower has been seen in various areas of the lighthouse, but mostly documented on top of the lighthouse tower watching over the grounds. and ever since the horrific death of 3 young girls, who drowned when the cart they were playing in broke and fell into the ocean, tragically pulling them all in, visitors have claimed to hear the sounds of children playing in and around the lighthouse. There was an episode of Ghost Hunters where they allegedly caught the lighthouse keeper looking down on them on CCTV. Number 10. Edinburgh Castle, Edinburgh in Scotland. Finally a place closer to home, this castle is one of the largest attractions in Scotland's capital city. It's also considered to be one of the most haunted castles in Scotland. With sections of the castle going back more than 900 years, the historic fortress's ancient dungeons have led visitors to the castle to report sightings of colonial prisoners from the American Revolutionary War, French prisoners from the 7 Years' War. There is even reports of the ghost of a dog walking around the castle's dog cemetery. Have you ever visited Edinburgh Castle? Have you ever witnessed any strange activity? If so, then let us know by commenting below.